Everyone can give us a little bit of money so we can get a big enough refrigerator where we can hold more than a case and a half of beer.
Maybe we could have Archie Bunker's daughter be the
Sally
spokesperson
Struthers.
for us.
Well, yeah, she's too fat now to be a spokesperson for any of those starving charities.
She
So
would definitely fit in this group.
not in the refrigerator, though.
No, she'd
That's why
probably
we
eat
need a
the
bigger one.
refrigerator.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a couple of my half-drinking Diet Cokes in that said refrigerator. And another thing in that refrigerator, which I've talked about on the air before, is it happens to be a bottle of beer that my grandfather brewed right here, right up the street in the late 60s, 70s, and early 80s. My grandfather, George Chopact, had George's Bar. And part of, this is way before its time, but part of George's Bar was it was a brew pub. He brewed his beer right in the bar. So in that refrigerator is a green bottle of beer that was brewed sometime in 1981 and is still intact.
Be afraid. Be
Well,
very afraid.
as of now, it's intact, but the temperature outside the refrigerator is dropped lower than the temperature in. So I'm not sure what condition that valuable beer is going to be by the end of this night.
Also was, before I was legal enough to drink, of legal age to drink, was the first beer I had because my parents and my grandfather just had stacks and stacks of these beers. So as a young, 16, 17-year-old, for me to sneak out 2 or 3, nobody noticed. So that was actually the first beer I ever drank was George's beer.
This gets back to the conversation we were having earlier about having to suffer through that really crappy alcohol to get to the really good stuff every now and then. Now, not having had George's beer at any time, I can't really tell you what end of the spectrum it falls
Or
on.
what end it's going to come out of.
We know where it's going to come out of. We just don't know if it's going to come out in the Denny's special method. That's the scattered and splattered method. But having brewed beer in the past, I've had some batches that came out really good, and I've had some batches that, well, we try not to talk about those. It's like that little stepbrother. You just give him something fuzzy and stick him in a corner. He'll be fine. But so what else you got going on after Thanksgiving is my question. Because I'm always looking for what am I doing the next day.
Well, as I was lamenting or celebrating the fact that tomorrow I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to watch the parade. I'm going to eat, and that's it for the day. On Friday, I'm going to go right back into it. And on Friday, I need to spend the day catching up on schoolwork. So I'm going to spend Friday, right. Of course, I am against the idea of Black Friday. I believe that you should buy nothing on Black Friday.
I agree.
As I protest, I'll be at home writing a paper.
Let me just jump in here. Now, Tony Jones, otherwise a devoted capitalist, and I know this is the thing these days and the fad, and Black Friday. We don't do Black Friday. We protest. Why?
Because it's not stimulating our economy. It's stimulating China's economy. Everything that you buy on Black Friday is cheap Chinese goods that came over on a barge a year and a half ago and is junk, has no value, and that's why they can sell it to you for pennies on a dollar one day of the year.
Yeah, actually, that's very true because
It's garbage.
Yeah, I'll just confirming that. A few months ago, I happened to be in Best Buy just browsing around, looking over things, and I got into a conversation with one of the salesmen, and I don't know what was wrong with this guy, but he was
honest.
Yes, he had a burst of honesty.
He's in the wrong business.
Yeah, he probably still doesn't work there, but yeah, he had a sudden attack of honesty, and we got to talking about products, and for some reason Black Friday came up,
right,
and he volunteered the information. He says, you don't even want to be here. He says, never mind the crowds. He says, everything that we offer on Black Friday at Best Buy, he says, there's things missing.
And the fact that people, think about this for a second, die on Black Friday in this country. Every year, some poor security guard making $9 an hour
I was just
gets
going to mention
trampled
that.
by some fat person of Walmart.
On third shift.
Yeah.
So my third shift brethren dying for the sake of Chinese imports at Walmart.
Their guard's a little down because they've been working 10 hours and they're about to go home at the crack of noon after working all night, and they get trampled.
Well, it's to George's point, though, is because they probably have 10 of the
right.
item they advertise, And I think you are winning the Black Friday battle because now they're opening on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They're moving it early.
Well, it's the bait and switch. They have, from what he said, they usually have 1 or 2 actual quality items in the store on sale. It's, in other words, that's the lead. That's the hook. It's 1 or 2, literally. Now, I don't mean 1 or 2 lines of merchandise. I mean literally. He said 1 or 2 quality items in the store that they actually mark down 20 or 30%. That's it.
Now I was
The
almost
rest of it is the junk.
I was almost roped in because one of the things that we want to do here at Rhode Island Free Radio is branch out into more video content. So I was thinking about getting a separate computer for the studio here for video editing, and I saw some good prices out there, but I decided no, I'm not going to go out there like cattle and line up for Black Friday. It's not. I don't have it in me.
Well, that's the amazing part. People camping out 2 nights before in the parking lot, out in front, waiting for their wristband,
In the cold.
get number, or whatever.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to go to Black Friday anymore. Do you remember when the Nintendo Wii came out?
Are you banned from Black Friday?
I have been banned from Black Friday. You may not have noticed this, but I have a little bit of a temper at times. And I was number 20 whatever out of 30 of the Nintendo Wiis that were coming out that night. I got my ticket in my hand, and I'm waiting in line. And this SOB next to me says, I don't care about any tickets. I'm going to grab one, and I'm going to run. And I said it out loud, which is, I probably should have just said it internally, but I said it out loud. If you grab that, I'm punching you in the back of the head, and I don't care if I cripple you. Well, security heard me.
Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of waiting, and if I have to wait to get that ticket and you're going to jump the line, I'm just going to drop you.
All right, and let me just add in here too, not to interrupt you, Eddie, but because this is a purely audio medium, Psycho Eddie is an individual who is basically about the size of a New England Patriots linebacker,
Only shorter.
a little shorter, but a man of. Put it this way: you can do some damage in a riot. Put it that way.
5'10". I am 390 pounds, give or take. Yeah,
So when you throw a punch at the back of somebody's neck,
it's definitely going to make an impact. But yeah, I had to hand the ticket to my wife, and security said, "Please, sir, can we go for a little walk?" Which I'm kind of paraphrasing. They kind of grabbed me and said, "Come with us." And they were bigger than I, so I gladly obliged. And needless to say, no one ran off with the Wii that I was supposed to get.
Which, by the way, if you ask the same people that line up for Black Friday to line up to vote, they would say, "Oh, then I'm not voting."
right? And I think the old routine of do people still line up for concert tickets and things like that too?
I think that's obsolete, but I do believe that people have lined up for Star Wars, the upcoming Star Wars movie. They're in
Movies
line.
still do.
They're in line
They're
now.
in line already.
Yeah, they do that now.
How is that possible?
Well, I guess very enabling friends and family is how it's possible.
They must, yeah.
When is the debut of the Star Wars movie?
I think
December
it's mid-December.
16th. Yeah.
Don't even ask me why it sticks in my head. I am not a Star Wars fan, but, and I know I'm going to catch hell for that one, at DJ Psycho Eddie. Hit me up at mynightout@verizon.net with any hate mail. I am not a Star Trek. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I do like some sci-fi, but why that sticks in my head, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, I'm not a Star Wars fan for years and years. I mean, I enjoyed the first couple of movies that came out.
Right.
Then I decided that the rest of them sucked. And as far as this new Star Wars movie, I don't care who made it, but I'm not going to go see a Star Wars movie without Darth Vader.
But the fact that people have nothing to do for weeks at a time.
That's the basic premise, yes. What kind of loser do you have to be to stand in this line? And by the way, this is a chronic nerd speaking. I mean, this room is full of nerds.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I still feel justified in asking that question.
With a show of hands, how many people were excited to go to Comic-Con? Okay, my hand is up.
Yeah.
Right.
However, there are some nerdly things you just cannot do, personally. Because if I told my wife, hey, I'm going to go pitch a tent in front of whatever movie theater because I wanted to go see Star Wars, she'll either have me committed, or if I called her the first time and said, "Hey, can you bring me something hot to eat?" or she'd tell me to go F
Can
myself.
you come change my diaper?
Yeah, really. I mean,
So, are you okay with Cyber Monday? Because it seems like they're continuously extending this from early on
Right.
Thanksgiving Eve.
It's gone for, like a lot of things, it's gone now Thursday and sometimes Wednesday, and I am a supporter of Small Business Saturday, of course, which we'll be talking about at Rhode-IslandFreeRadio.org. But it's weird, because I am an anarcho-capitalist. However, I'm cheap, so I guess it is.
You like
it is
people spending money.
Right.
You just don't want to spend your own.
I think it is the libertarian ethos. What you want to do with yourself and your money, but it's like I cannot imagine at any point in time waiting in line for any item except from like a new kidney or something. I could I'm due for a knee replacement. Maybe if I had to wait in line to get my knee done, I'd think about it,
For
but
an
still
extra
not
$10
for 2
you
weeks
could
at a
hop the
time.
line.
right. My big question though is what happens now. We have Black Friday, we have Cyber Monday, we have Ultra Idiot Tuesday, whatever. What happens when we use up all the days of the week? Do we start over? Do we have Black and Blue Monday, Black and Blue Friday, like Cyber and something Tuesday, Monday?
And here's the most insulting thing in this whole gift-giving hierarchy. 90% of that stuff is going to be returned the day after Christmas.
Except the stuff that you buy on Black Friday, because that's just going in the trash can after
you
Christmas.
can't even return it. It's just going to be at the Johnston landfill.
I mean, I can hear it now. You know what I'm saying? You want, the kid wanted like iPod. He wanted the latest gadget.
Right across from us here is a room full of donations. You can just take your crappy Black Friday items and bring them right here and donate them to West Warwick's less fortunate.
Right, but my question is, now that I think about it, how many disappointed kids do those adults lining up at Black Friday represent?
Right.
In other words, little Susie's waiting for, what's the newest Apple? Is it 6 now? 7?
iPhone 6.
Seven's coming out.
iPhone 6 just came out a little while ago.
Okay, she's waiting for iPhone 6, and her mommy right now is standing in line at Black Friday to pick up the latest discount at Walmart. And that latest discount on Black Friday at Walmart is going to be under the tree, wrapped up with a bow, instead of iPhone 6.
And I'm guilty of that. I have nieces and nephews. No idea what to get them.
I'm
idea.
a very big fan of the gift card, or as I like to call them, Transformers. You give them a gift card, it turns into whatever the hell they want, and it saves all that amount of time that I was going to spend shopping and waiting in line. To heck with that.
Oh no, I'm not talking about not knowing what to get though. I'm talking about parents that are trying to cheap their way out on their kids on Black Friday.
I think Chuckles and I had this very conversation. Is that when we were kids, they had the cheaper knockoff items. So I wanted a remote control car.
Right.
Now the cheaper knockoff item was a remote control car with a wire attached from the remote to the car.
Not exactly, not quite remote.
Kind of not what I was looking for, Mom.
Back in my day, we had the remote control car that went in one direction. You would go forward in a straight line, kind of, and when it went reverse, it turned to the left. And then it would go forward again, straight, and then it would turn to the left as you backed up. And as the batteries died, the wheels wouldn't have enough power to snap forward again, so you would just drive in circles.
Oh, that's awesome.
And run over your own wire.
And after about 2 days, Eddie's remote control car only went forward on an incline.
After you pulled it backwards.
On its own.
Let's spin some tunes, and in just a little bit, we're going to bring Chuckles the Clown into the conversation, one of our biggest names here on Rhode Island Free Radio as we are broadcasting live. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. Let's see. Well, this is the perfect song name from a great local band. We're going to hear from Most Dangerous Men Alive. The name of this track, Women and Whiskey, right here on Rhode Island Free Radio.